last video I put up, or I put up a video some time ago or whatever, and I had some people request that I read the book out loud. So um, every day now that I do my daily reading, I'll just go ahead and read the book out loud, and I'm gonna record it. So right now I'm currently reading Gary Vaynerchuk, Crushing It. How great entrepreneurs build their business and influence, and how you can too. I am currently on chapter 9, and so if you guys haven't yet read this book, and because I'm now at more than halfway through the book, if you want to go ahead and read the previous chapters in this book, I would highly encourage you to do that. So without further ado, I'm on chapter 9. This chapter is called Snapchat. Despite its 173 million daily active users, its 10 billion daily video views, its 2.5 billion daily snaps, and the approximately 18 visits it enjoys from its daily active users per day, Snapchat remains another massively underestimated platform. Let me clue you into an important tell. When the normals, that is the non-tech, non-business crowd, are the first to start spending inordinate amounts of time on a platform, that's the signal to start paying close attention. That's what drew me to Musically early on, and it's why I knew Snapchat had an exciting future when it first came out in 2011. I saw it as the first social network to closely recreate the way we communicate face to face. Its founder, Evan Spiegel and Bobby Murphy, conceived it as the anti Facebook, a photo sharing app for spontaneous, imperfect, and impermanent. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm a little bit nervous because I normally don't read on camera. But for spontaneous, imperfect, and impermanent content. When Snapchat first came on the scene in 2011, the messaging apps, vertical video, and left right swiping had people totally confused. It took most users, even the young, a few minutes to click around and get used to it. For teens, though, it was worth figuring out because it addressed two universal realities. You don't want to hang where your mom hangs out, and number two, you want to lock your room because adults didn't get it. Because images self destructed 1 to 10 seconds after being opened, and because it gave you the option of drawing and writing text or captions on top of your pictures. The kids were quick to see its potential as texting 2.0, a freer, less curated, and less dangerous place than other platforms to share and creatively express themselves. And share they did. It became widely derided and even feared as the next sexting tool for the high school set. Though it never really was a sexting app, that was just the media jumping on a select few cases and running with the attention grabbing headlines. Today, people don't talk about sexting and Snapchat in the same breath anymore, just as people stopped sneering at Twitter for being the place where attention hogs posted what they ate for lunch, and at Facebook for being a place where college students shared their beer pong pics. Today, the Snapchat app allows you to post video as well as photos, and as has added all kinds of extras like filters, geo filters, lenses, emojis, and video editing tools like slow-mo. Content is no longer ephemeral. You could always hack by taking screenshots of images to save them, but with the addition of memories, which stores your content on the app server, Snapchat essentially caved into the human desire to save and revisit the important moments of our lives. The game changing introduction, however, and the one that would turn out to have the most influence on influencers, was Stories, a function that allows you to link a series of videos and photos to tell a longer narrative visible to the whole Snapchat community for 24 hours. It arrived in 2013, and I very publicly pronounced it a dud. You can watch me make my blunder emphatically and passionately at the LE Web 13 conference on YouTube. I love the platform, but I thought the change introduced too much friction in the UI and betrayed the whole point of the app, which was to create snack size disappearing content. I was dead wrong. The story feature became the main place where users could consume content at scale. Less than a year later, 40% of American teenagers were using Snapchat daily. I learned an important lesson from that bad call on Snapchat. A devoted, sticky fan base is willing to be patient as you experiment your way to the next iteration. The next big launch, Discover, saw Snapchat graduate into a bona fide media platform by offering a page where users would find a slew of brands like National Geographic, T-Mobile, and ESPN. Snapchat now had access to advertising revenue, and that meant so did anyone who could crack the Snapchat code. The man who did that is named DJ Khaled. But before I introduce him, we're going to reminisce about Ashton Kutcher. He wasn't the first star on Twitter. Big shout out to MC Hammer, joined in May 2007, and LeVar Burton joined in December 2008. But after joining in January 2009, Kutcher was the first celebrity to truly scale his brand through the platform. Like Hammer and Burton, he'd been building his brand through talent and hustle for decades as a model, a sitcom and film actor, and a producer and director for the reality TV show Punked. I often talk about Kutcher when I talk about the history of Twitter because it was only 4 months after joining that he became the first Twitter user to boast 1 million followers. Thanks to a brilliant campaign of challenging CNN to a race to hit the milestone, suddenly Twitter, which had seemed like a joke to most people, was mainstream. DJ Khaled created the Ashton Kutcher moment for Snapchat. For over 2 decades, he built a name for himself in the music industry as a Miami based DJ, producer, and radio host. Khaled joined Snapchat in the fall of 2015, snapping inspirational and motivational keys to life and success. His fondness for the platform, he wrote in his memoir, "The Keys," was that it's not about the angle or editing or lighting or how good you look. It's just you for 10 seconds being real with your fans. That authenticity had earned him a sizable fan base. By November or December of that year, anyone following social media could see that whatever it was he was doing, it was something special. Thousands of kids were showing up to meet his bus in places like Des Moines, Iowa. You could start to feel that the scale of Snapchat was shifting. Then in December of that year, Khaled left a friend's house by jet ski, only to get caught off guard by the waning early winter light. Disoriented in the now pitch black water, he proceeded to snap his entire ordeal until he finally made it back to shore. By the next day, his popularity and his personal brand had exploded. DJ Khaled made it official. Snapchat was now a star making vehicle. So, how did Khaled do it? How does a grown up become famous on a platform that serves as a communication tool among tweens and teens? By not overthinking anything. Unpolished content is native to Snapchat, and Khaled just was who he was. Some people might call such banal, spontaneous content dumb and worthless, but that would be like saying that minute, I don't know how to say that word, of our lives are dumb and worthless. They're not. When combined, those raw, unfiltered moments make up who we are. We don't judge mundane behaviors as dumb when we interact with people. We save such judgment for truly dumb behavior. We accept people in their natural habitats, and we understand that every word people utter is not going to be movie script worthy. Snapchat is simply a channel that captures that unvarnished reality. The only reason some people think what gets shared there is dumb is because it's on a screen, and we've been conditioned to think that anything on a screen has to be perfectly produced and performed. On Twitter, we're expected to be clever or politically astute and insightful. Facebook is where we show off our families and vacations. On Instagram, we build relationships through images and short videos. Snapchat, though, is where we put our throwaway content. It's a relief to many because it demands little of either its content creators or users. It eliminated the great barrier to many social networks, which it is the anxiety of wondering what you're going to post next, whether it will be well received, and whether it could come back to haunt you one day. With the freedom to post anything, people could experiment and get comfortable building their personal brands without fear of repercussions. That opened the floodgates for many to unleash their creativity and discover and develop new skills. More than one person has left a corporate job or fledgling startup because playing around on Snapchat led them to create a new medium or become an influencer, which attracted brands eager to pay them tens of thousands of dollars to promote their products in Snapchat stories. It is staggering how many families are filming their days and building actual fame. It's especially easy if you're willing to include your children. That's an extremely personal choice, but babies and cute animals always win. Hands down. Carrie Robinson learned that when she used Snapchat to film herself engaging in salon talk with her baby girl Jade, while Jade took her to her mom's hair with a brush. Her stories on Facebook went viral and garnered articles and TV segments in national media from CBS News to Essence Magazine. Today, Jade has her own ad supported YouTube channel with 24,000 subscribers and an Instagram account with more than 200,000 followers. You can watch a video of her opening a gift of children's products from a hair care company and see a photo that expresses thanks for a t-shirt sent by a company that celebrates children with naturally curly hair. You couldn't get a pure example of person who is famous and it would seem earning money for simply being herself. That's what can come from posting a single piece of excellent content. What will what will come of Jade's online celebrity in the long term remains to be seen, of course, but at a time when people are desperate for good news and uplifting, heartwarming content, a glimpse of your ordinary life could be just what they're looking for. Many people who have already gotten some brand traction and are becoming influencers, including some featured in this book, stopped producing content on Snapchat as soon as Instagram stories came out in August 2016. The thinking was that Snapchat is toast. Why bother? You bother because it's a mistake to give up one of the tools in your tool belt for no reason. Hear this: Instagram and Snapchat are not the same. As always, people are looking for different things on each. Why would you deprive them? Sure, it's hard. That's the challenge, but that's also the opportunity. Because it's hard, only 1 in 20 of you is going to do it well. You should be busting your ass to be that 1 in 20. I understand that you want to focus on what is giving you the best returns right now, but what if it doesn't always? And why would you turn your back on a potentially whole new audience? As I write this book, I'm constantly checking the App Store to see which platforms are ranked highest. Snapchat is often in the top 5. That means it's not an irrelevant platform and no influencer is too good for it. If anything, this app is one of the most valuable for anyone whose brand is starting to scale. Much of your competition has surely become too reliant and focused on Instagram, which means those potential eyeballs still on Snapchat are looking for more content to feed them. Make sure you're the one to deliver it. It is so easy for influencers to become sucked into the vortex of the media machine they've created. You risk becoming a caricature of yourself, especially on Instagram, where the images are so highly curated. As a feature within your Instagram ecosystem, Instagram stories are almost required to stay within the lines and support the narrative you've created there. Snapchat, on the other hand, is an entity unto its own. You can use it to break away from the familiar narrative and show sides of yourself that simply don't exist anywhere else. It gives you differentiated content, whereas all your other channels intertwine with each other to support your pillar content. Snapchat stands alone. That's an excellent reason in and of itself to take it seriously, even when its DNA makes it a natural draw for the mundane and the silly. It gives you a place to be surprising and different, often in the most ordinary, banal ways. This is advice I should take to heart too. I could do an even better job there myself. Snapchat 101. Back to original question. How should grown-ups build their brands and dreams on a communication tool for tweens and teens? Some people, like Baby Jade, have so much charisma that they're going to go viral the minute they present themselves on their work in public. But those individuals are few. For the vast majority, it will take talent plus a combination of tactics and strategy to get noticed. Yet, Snapchat limits those tactics. There are no hashtags, for example, so no discoverability. What that means is that building a brand on Snapchat is truly a test of your branding prowess. It's not about running ads and quantifying every click and mathematically variable. It's about hacking culture. Snapchat reveals who's good at it and who's not. This is why you shouldn't wonder whether to bother with Snapchat now that Instagram has its own version of stories. Whether or not Snapchat can compete over time, it's a terrific training ground to become a superior marketer and branding expert, not just a conversion based digital salesperson. Let me say that again another way. The business world is separated into two camps: conversion based salespeople and branding and marketing people. The former are short term players, the latter long term. With no disrespect meant towards sales, I always try to teach you to be branding and marketing people, because the great life changing upside resides in long term thinking, not in figuring out how to make a quick buck. For example, Lauren Everts, of the Skinny Confidential, takes a long term view of her investment in Snapchat. I answer every single snap I get, and sometimes I get 200 a day. I sit down at night for an hour and in the morning for an hour and answer every single question. It's almost like text messaging your readers like they're your friends. I think it allowed people to really come into my life and allow me to come into theirs. It's just a different way of being social, and it allows me to tell a story. And while I tell that story, I'm 100% providing value to the audience. For instance, if I go to cryotherapy, I take a picture of where I am, and then I show me in the booth freezing my ass off, and then I show that what I wore, and after that I Snapchat the little flyer with the benefits. So what my followers get out of that is where to go, what the benefits are, what they should wear, and what it looks like when you're in the chamber. With every single thing I do, I try to hit those 4 points. I'm not just going to post a picture of my coffee cup. I'm going to say, today I'm drinking iced coffee. I'm drinking it with silicone straw because it's BPA free, and I like cinnamon in it because it helps with your blood sugar. Every single snap needs to leave them with something, or else it's narcissistic. With Instagram stories, you're competing with a lot of people. Snapchat has white nose, and whenever I see white nose, I'm intrigued because though that's the way to stand out. Some of these influencers have just been taking pictures for the last 5 years. Snapchat forces you to show your personality. Are you intelligent? Are you funny? What are you bringing to the table other than what you're wearing? The thing to remember is that one is famous only on Snapchat because of the temporary nature of the majority of the content. The only way to allow it to live long enough for people to discover and get to know you is to cross pollinate with other platforms. For example, if you miss DJ Khaled's jet ski drama, you can still find it on YouTube. Same with Carrie and Jade's Robinson's Salon Talk. That means that to be a Snapchat influencer, you need to be strong on the other platforms as well. The content you produce for Snapchat has to be powerful enough to draw viewers on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. The way to get discovered on Snapchat is not much different from the way television stations try to get people to tune into their programs, which is to market in all the other places where people who might be interested in you are already going. That's what I did. I was never concerned by the lack of discoverability on Snapchat because I could see that all I had to do was draw awareness to it through my base on Twitter, YouTube, and my website. I did not use tactics like running Facebook ads to convert people. Instead, I branded and marketed. You'll be in the majority if you're able to figure out a formula that works equally well across platforms. Most people lean heavily on the one or two they're most comfortable with, and uh, that rare skill could make you a dominant force here. All you're doing when testing discovery strategies is figuring out how to siphon people's attention. For example, if you want to bring awareness to your Snapchat profile and a lot you send out lots of emails, add your snap code to the email. Pretty easy, right? You could wear a t-shirt with your snap code printed on it, or you could create custom geo filters which are still underpriced. Both tactics would allow you to put your brand right in front of people's eyes in a fun, interactive, unobtrusive way. Snapchat 201. Collaborate. There is no discoverability on Snapchat. People have to know who you are and be motivated to come find you and follow you. That makes organizing collaborations tricky unless you reach out to people on their other platforms, their email, their Instagram, whatever, and either suggest doing something special together on Snapchat or offer something valuable in return for a shout out or endorsement on their channel. If you need other influencers to help you grow your account, you're probably not big enough to be of much interest to them unless you've got something pretty spectacular up your sleeve. Here are some ideas for growing your followers to build your brand and make yourself more attractive for collabs. For explicit instructions on how to create and upload your own, read my blog post called How to Create and Use Snapchat's New Custom Geo Filters. www.garyvaynerchuk.com/, how to create and use Snapchat's new custom geo filters. Write multiple blog posts about Snapchat so when the media needs a quote about it, they come to you. Gain visibility by creating Snapchat events such as the JuraSnap Park project that helped launch the career of Honduras. See page 167. Pay for a Google ad that asks something like, who should I follow on Snapchat? And offer a list of names with yours at the top. One more suggestion, you could visit the 11thsecond.com, a website founded by Quirine Cuomo, also known as Crini Q, Snapchat artist and influencer extraordinaire. She created the website in response to the app's lack of discovery. There you can submit and check out Snapchatter descriptions and usernames to make it easier for users to find accounts that match your interests. Like Meow Chicken Fish, who uses Snapchat art to teach sign language, and Snapchat chef who makes cooking videos. The site is a screenshot repository for cool Snapchat art, as well as a resource where Snapchatters can look for tips, hacks, inspiration, advice, and more. Crinny Q saw a problem, no discovery option on her favorite platform and solved it. Like all good entrepreneurs, she found a way. Imagine this. Let's say you're like me, a 42-year-old influencer who has become somewhat pigeonholed in terms of the kind of content that's expected of you. You already have a blog, a Q&A show, and a daily vlog. While playing around on Snapchat, you realize that it could provide you with an interesting outlet where you could create a new narrative, a place to micro vlog. It's the place where you can talk about your coffee, show a picture of the colorful cereal aisle at your supermarket, and reveal that your favorite color marker is green. It's where Rick, the clothing store manager, snaps himself playing wiffle ball with friends, and where Sally, the real estate agent, admits that even though she's paleo, she has a weakness for fried pies. Sharing these minor, seemingly unimportant details, often embellished with colorful doodles of fun filters, will do nothing whatsoever to help build any of our brands as influencers in our respective fields, but it does give our followers as a chance to see us at our most human. How I'm crushing it. Sean McBride, Honduras. Yeah, Sean McBride, Honduras. IG at Honduras. It's no secret that I think spending 4 hours getting a college degree, if you have your heart set on becoming a business person or entrepreneur, is a waste of time and money. Make that a fucking waste of time and money. I feel that strongly about it. However, I am grateful to Weber State University in Utah because that's where Sean McBride received Crush It as a reading assignment from one of his professors in 2010. If he hadn't, it might have been a few more years before we finally heard of him. The timing, however, put Sean in a position to become a mega influencer, and he did it on a platform where most people said it couldn't be done. Sean embodies the work hard, work smart model. At the time that he was getting his degree, Sean was also running a skate snowboard shop. It made sense until then. Skateboarding had been his main joy in life. His other love was motivating people and sharing positivity. He'd spent 2 years on a service mission in Honduras. That's how he got his nickname, Shunduras, where he had been moved by his experience serving others and helping make a difference in their lives. The skate shop was an ideal place for him to share his love for sport and service. Problem was, while he liked the work, it wasn't always much fun. He knew he wanted to build a business and he knew his passion was skateboarding, but he had a suspicion that building a business around that passion could be a great way to ensure that he rarely got to indulge in it like the music teacher and his neglect symphony in Mr. Holland's opus. You can kill your passions on a very good snow day. I was in the shop because everyone needed to buy gear to go snowboarding. I think it's often best to chase things that are in line with your passions, but aren't exactly your passion. Upon reading Crush It, he applied some of what he learned to his in store customer service, but more significant, the book made him realize that if he went about it creatively, he might be able to build an e-commerce business that would allow him to have fun every day doing something he loved. He did he didn't know of anything about e-commerce, but he figured the best way to learn was to just go for it. What could he sell online that would also allow him to interact regularly with people? His first thought, of course, was skateboards and snowboards, but snowboards needed a lot of storage and are costly to ship and hard to buy in bulk. They were his passion, but they were not a practical choice. So, what was small, light, weight, and easy to buy in bulk? Jewelry. Who bought jewelry? Moms. And where were moms hanging out? Facebook. At the time, Facebook was still in the early stages of its gargantuan growth, adding millions of users every month, women leading the way to make up 57% of the site membership and accounting for 62% of the shares. And Facebook had all these features that could enhance engagement. For example, if one person commented on a post, all their friends could see it. It's hard to remember, but at the time, that was still pretty remarkable. Facebook became Sean's storefront and his design studio. I would ask my fans to tell me what kind of styles they wanted and help me name the pieces. I do giveaways like whoever picks the best name for this necklace will get 10 free necklaces. Engagement went through the roof. He gave people every opportunity to interact with the site. It felt like they were part of the jewelry boutique and that we were creating it together. No one was more surprised by the venture's success than Sean. I didn't even think it was going to work. I was hoping I could make 50 bucks a week extra by shipping a couple of necklaces out of the back of my skate shop. And within 1 week, I had more orders than I could handle. Within 2 weeks, I'd hired all my sisters and I was paying them with necklaces. It took only 2 months to net 6 figures. He quickly hired more help, and by the end of the first year, the business had made 1.2 million. But Sean wasn't there to celebrate. He was having a blast. But after about 8 months, he was done. His excitement for the business was rooted in steep learning curves. Now that he'd learned everything he needed to know, he was ready to see if he could apply that knowledge to a new business, one that traded in helping brands tell stories and spread positive messages via social media rather than selling consumer goods. Sean sold the business to his partner and quit his day job at the retail shop. But instead of immediately starting a new company, he accepted a dream job as a sales prep for some of his favorite skateboard and snowboard brands, a position that gave him plenty of opportunity to shred as much as he liked. It also brought him the time he needed to study the market and figure out a scalable, long term business idea. The job required that he traveled a lot, so Sean's high school age sisters asked him to download a new app popular among teens called Snapchat. To make it easier for him to share his adventures with them, there it was, the answer he'd been seeking. At the time, you had to hold your finger on the screen or the image would disappear. That meant 100% engagement. You could draw cartoons and doodles on your pictures with your fingers, something you couldn't do on any other platform. That meant fun. If there's one thing Sean had learned from his jewelry boutique experiment, it's that he was good at creating safe online communities where people could come together to engage and have fun. The greatest challenge was trying to grow on a platform that did not cater to growth. Snapchat was a communication platform like text messaging, so I had to make it into a content creating platform. Eventually, Snapchat made updates which helped with that, but I had to get creative at first. There's a reason Sean's content got so much attention when so many others on Snapchat did not. He treated Snapchat like a business. Many people start pumping out cool content onto a platform and just hope they'll get noticed and grow their audience enough that brands will come calling. Usually, you have to be more proactive than that. Sean had a plan. He set himself a series of goals, and everything he did from the moment was in service of meeting them. Goal number one was to grow an audience through creative engagement and collaborations. So he started doodling. Every day he would post a video of himself doing something goofy or a fun picture he doctored to make people laugh, like a unicorn vomiting rainbows or a snowy landscape or his uh, Dutch shuns in silly costumes and poses. He also invited his fans to participate in his snaps. For example, he drew himself as a trapeze, uh, triceratops and announced that he wanted help building Jurassic Park, posting requests for friends to take selfies, draw themselves as dinosaurs, and send the pictures to him. He took screenshots of the images and displayed them. The response was tremendous. It felt like one to one communication. On a lot of social media, you make a beautiful image and then people comment below. Snapchat felt more collaborative. We built the stories up together. Most people would naturally assume that it was Sean's artistic ability that drew him to the platform, but there's something funny about the way he drew his way to Snapchat stardom. I literally did not know how to draw when I decided to make the Snapchat thing work. I thought, well, if I want to tell a good story and I think this is a great platform that's emerging, a lot of it has to do with doodling and creativity. I need to learn. I literally Googled how to draw dinosaurs and then how do I do angry eyes. And then I put them on my dinosaur. I never copied anything, but I would teach myself how to draw by looking up art on the internet. And then I slowly learned how to layer things. Give me a Snapchat and I'll make you a funny little doodle, but give me a pen and paper or a paintbrush and I probably couldn't do much for you. He reached out to a talented Snapchat artist, Michael Platko, who was getting a lot of engagement, and with the aim of mutually growing each one's fan base, they created the first Snapchat collaboration. A boxing match, each invited his fans to send his opponent punches in the form of snaps doodled with a colorful kapow, or two with fists and boxing gloves. The person who received the most punches would be KO'd. Within an hour, thousands of punches were thrown, and Shonduras and M. Platko responded to each round with selfies doodled to make themselves look pummeled to a pulp. They finally declared the fight a draw, but regardless, Sean had won by multiplying his audience by thousands, making it possible for him to move forward with the next stage of his plan. Goal number two was to get press. The major hindrance to growing a brand on Snapchat was impermanence. There was no way to link, no way to share, and the content vaporized after 24 hours. The only way Snapchatters could give their content a longer lifespan and establish a permanent online presence was to screenshot the images and push them onto Twitter and Instagram. The other way it occurred to Sean was to get someone to write about him. Snapchat didn't even have a website, so the only way someone could learn about the platform was through Google. Shonduras intended to be the first name to pop up. Once again, he got creative. His mother, understandably proud of her son, had contacted a media outlet and suggested they feature his work. Concerned that journalists wouldn't pay attention to a self promoter, he decided to use his mom's email address to pitch stories about Snapchat. Every night, he'd ask his assistant in Philippines to draft personalized emails to contacts at the tech trades, Mashable, BuzzFeed, and Business Insider, for example, with an attachment of his work. The emails were written in his mother's voice. I saw your recent article about YouTube and I thought a story on this new platform called Snapchat might be a good fit for your audience. My son does these really interesting stories there. In the morning, he'd wake up to 3 or 4 emails from people asking his mom for Sean's number. The media attention snowballed until he started getting featured in Time, Forbes, and Fast Company. That kept him relevant and top of mind. So when brands started wondering how they could use the platform, as predicted, his was the first name they thought of. While all this was happening, Sean had also been working on goal number three, to tell a story for a brand. Every brand I've spoken to, they aren't just a product, they have a story and they want to share it. All along, he'd been hitting up small brands and local businesses to see if they would give him a chance to create some work for them as a case study that he could then use as a marketing tool. No one was interested until he wrote to Disney. Unbelievably, Disney, the biggest brand of all, said yes. Their brand slogan that year was "Show Your Disney side." So Sean's idea was to go to every part of Disneyland to look for his Disney side, snapping and doodling as he went along. Was he more of a Toon guy, a Tomorrowland guy, or an Adventureland guy? In the end, he was an everything guy, snapping a photo of himself sporting doodled Tarzan dreads, a robot arm, Tinker Bell on his shoulder, and Captain Hook wig. From there, the branding work took off. Besides his role as brand ambassador several times for Disney, Sean has created Snapchat content for Red Bull, Xfinity, Mobile, Taco Bell, and many other companies. He even got to help promote the 2015 release of Star Wars The Force Awakens. Even at the height of his success, though, he was looking ahead to see what else he could do. That's the thing. Once you've crushed something, you've got to keep moving on. Who knows how long Snapchat's going to be around? Let's crush it again. While still going strong on Snapchat, Sean started developing his YouTube channel. Originally, he was documenting the scene behind the scenes of his crazy Snapchat adventures and travels. But as he started creating more branded YouTube videos and his life became increasingly packed with meetings, the channel increasingly featured all the characters in his life, from the employees working in the space station, Sean's studio and office, to his wife, Jenny, and his baby girl, Adley, in late 2016. They launched a second YouTube channel on which they all have free reign to bring their weird ideas to life. Sean envisions it as a sitcom in which all of his friends and family play a distinct role. His hope is that his attention audience will get addicted to the personalities and storylines just as they once did with shows like Seinfeld. Though his YouTube brand deals today outnumber those he does for Snapchat, his Snapchat following remains robust. In addition, he continues to accept speaking engagements, including a TED Talk. He is also working as a consultant, helping brands to strategize, work with influencers, and put together strong social media campaigns in 2017. He announced that he'll be creating branded content for Viacom, including Nickelodeon and MTV. And he recently launched a successful esports organization with some of the number one teams in the world. There's no sign of stopping. Every day, this long haired skater dude with the instincts of a hardened businessman commits to spreading positive messages and giving people a reason to laugh and have fun. What's the secret to his success? Personal relationships. I think a lot of people establish fake one-way relationships that just want to ask for something, or they want to do a collab and get a shout out. They don't develop those relationships and provide value and just give. If you do that, eventually you'll get back, and that's where the success comes. I have watched this man execute relentlessly for the last 5 years or so. What I love most about him is how his happiness comes through in everything that he does. He's a classic storyteller who isn't afraid to try anything. While many people find every reason in the world to say no, Sean says yes. That's his secret sauce. It's the end of chapter 9, and the next chapter is chapter 10, Twitter. So, thank y'all for tuning in.